everybody, and welcome to another Agile IT Tech Talk. I'm your host, Sean Spicer, and today we're going to be going through enabling Microsoft bookings. Now, Microsoft has a lot of cool products that reduce the need for third-party applications. In this case, I'm thinking about things like Calendly, 10 to 8, and different other booking softwares. Now, this can be useful if you're in a service environment, like say a hair or nail salon, or if you have professional services, if you want to be able to book time with your sales team. And I'm going to do a couple of tech talks over the coming weeks about some of these overlooked features that come with Microsoft 365. Now, in order to enable bookings, you'll need to have a Microsoft 365 Business Premium, a E3 or E5 license for the customer or for the users that you're going to be enabling it for. But let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to be working again in a demo tenant. And the first thing we're going to want to do is make sure that bookings is turned on. And in order to do that, we're going to go down here into the admin section. We're going to show all, and we are looking for settings, then organizational settings. And organizational settings is where you can turn things on and off. So, for example, we did a tech talk a while back about shutting off Power Automate for your users because there were some security concerns back in the days around user impersonation. But right now, we're going to look at bookings. Now, it is turned on by default, but by chance if it isn't working, this is how you turn it back on. And just need to allow your organization to use bookings. Then there are two other settings. One is to block social sharing options. So as we go into this, I'm going to show how you can share your bookings onto a social network site like LinkedIn or Facebook. And then also to require approvals for sharing the information through bookings. So if, for example, a manager adds somebody to the calendar and let's say they don't want to have bookings at 8 a.m., they have the ability to confirm or deny. And then those settings can be adjusted. But as you can see, bookings is turned on. And there's also a nice link to the TechNet articles here. We're not going to look at those today. Now, in order to actually use bookings, you're going to go down to all applications. And bookings is going to be in the menu here if it is enabled for your organization. And this is a totally new tenant, so it is not turned on at all. I want to take you through the entire experience. So we're going to go ahead and get it now. We start by adding a booking calendar. For the business name, we're going to call this Contoso Consulting and business type professional services. Continue. Now, in just a second, we're going to be able to add users, add some details about the business, and we'll go through all of this. This is taking a little bit longer than it did this morning. Now, up top, it does have these links to product tips. Don't really need to use those, but when you're first starting out, it's nice to be able to look and figure out the time. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we have staff that is able to be booked. And we're going to add staff. This is tied in with Active Directory. So let's go ahead and add our good friend Megan. And then let's add a couple of others here. So we're going to put in a phone number here. Let's say if you are old like I am, you'll recognize that is the old direct number for information. Now, you can be a viewer administrator. Now, an administrator has the ability to add and remove users, while viewers have the ability to be booked. Guests can also be booked, but they don't have access to the settings. Notify staff via email when booking is assigned to them. Yes, we definitely want that. We're going to go ahead and stick with the business hours here. And we're going to save this. And let's add one more. And we'll add Isaiah. Give him a different number. Let's say he's up in the Bay Area. He's going to be a viewer as well. Now, events on Office Calendar affect availability. I think this is the real key feature of this, is that if you are already booked for a meeting or booked for a session, then it will not book you again. You can't be overbooked, and this is going to pull the information out of Outlook. So we're going to go ahead and save Isaiah. So now we have a couple of users that can be booked. Now in your organization, this may be salespeople, clinicians. Now let's go ahead and set up our booking page. This is really nice. So even if you don't have a website, you're going to get a URL that can be used where customers can access your booking page, but you're also going to get an iframe where you can embed this into your own site. So let's go down through these settings. Require a Microsoft 365 or Office 365 account for my organization to book. This is useful in large organizations. For example, if you have, I don't know, let's say a chaplain that needs to have internal appointments made. So you can set up bookings that are only available within the company. Disable direct search engine indexing of a booking page. Setting this will set it so that you will not have that page discovered by Google. Customer data usage consent. Let's go ahead and do this. We will use your data to make money. And of course, that is not an official GDPR statement, but you get the idea. So the settings for when customers can book services, the time increments are the amount of time that can be booked. Minimum lead time of 24 hours. I actually, when using this, set it lower. So I set it to 12 hours, which means that if somebody comes in at 5 p.m., they can book for the next day, but you're not going to be able to book same day appointments when it's set to 12. The maximum lead time is how far ahead in advance in days. I don't want people booking a year ahead of time, so let's go ahead and make that 60. Notify the business via email when a booking is created or changed. And I'm going to show how to set this up to do a Teams notification if we have time today. Now send a meeting invite to the customer in addition to the confirmation email. That is always nice. Don't want people to forget about it. My barbershop uses a platform similar to this. And as soon as I book a haircut, God, I miss haircuts. As soon as I book a haircut, I get an ICS invite that allows me to add that both to my Outlook as well as my personal Gmail calendars. So we can also change general availability so that we have custom hours that recur weekly. We can also set custom hours for a date range. So for example, if we're going to be out for Christmas, we can go ahead and say from 12/20/21 to 12/28/21, we are not bookable. So this is set up now. What we want to do is we want to customize the page. In this case, let's go ahead and make it a nice blue. We can also set custom colors. If you have your own HTML color codes that you use for your own branding, you can do that. So for example, if we wanted to do one of our Agile IT colors, BB8D0B, we get our Agile yellow. And I'm looking to see if I can read my whiteboard from here for the blue. Okay, 079C1. There we go. Display business logo. We already have the Contoso Electronics logo in there. And always show time slots and business time zones. So this will set it so that it displays your time zone regardless of where the customer is. So we've got that set. We're going to go ahead and save and publish. Published. Now we have share your page. We can go ahead and open the published page to see what it looks like. God, those colors are ugly. And we can see here, okay, 8, and let's book 9 o'clock. And we just fill out the information. And yes, consent. We will use your data to make money. Fine, make money. Give me services, I will give you money. We'll get a confirmation message and email shortly. So Now we also have the ability here to reschedule, but let's go back to the settings here. I want to show you something else. So one of the things you can do is you can set it to allow specific users or specific employees to be picked. So that's saved and published. Now, if we do want to embed this, we will go to home. Oh, no. There it is, embed. And this will give you the iframe code. You can either embed with HTML or use an iframe. Me being the SEO nerd that I am, I strongly recommend that you use HTML embeds. Iframes can do some really weird things to your crawlers, and anything in an iframe will not be indexed. So if there is information, perhaps in the customer data usage consent or on the individual page, you don't want to use that iframe. So stick with the href. So you can embed that there. Now, let's go to services. And we can add services. So initial consult. Now let's say, since we're talking about John, my barber, let's say haircut. Description, John will talk your ear off and cut your hair off. Default locations, if you have locations assigned within, it will automatically pull those. And that goes back to what I was discussing last week around Microsoft Search and adding locations to your organization. In this case, let's make it 1313 Mockingbird Lane. It is pulling information from Bing for this. Today I learned there is actually a 1313 Mockingbird Lane all over the place. Those must be fun houses. That's the street address of the Munsters. I'm dating myself like crazy. So default duration, we can set that. Let's make that 0 hours and 30 minutes. Well, wait, this is a John haircut. Let's make that 1 hour and 30 minutes. Buffer time your customers can't book. This is nice. Now, we have this set up in our organization that if somebody, so we get sales calls booked with us all the time, and we do not want sales calls to get booked back to back to back, because you need some time after an initial call with a client in order to collect your notes, gather your thoughts, and start to work on a statement of working, next steps, do follow-ups. So in this case, what we'll do is we'll set this to 15 minutes. And that will also buffer around your existing calendar. So if you have a meeting with your CEO at 3 o'clock, they aren't going to be able to book within 15 minutes of that existing meeting. Now, as your volume picks up and you've got tons and tons of bookings, you may want to come back in and adjust that. So let customers manage their appointment when it was booked by you or your staff on their behalf. That is where that reschedule button comes in. Pretty handy. That way you don't have to take phone calls about cancellations. Maximum number of attendees per event, we can go ahead and set 2. Now, the default price. So we can set this as a fixed price of $30. And my haircuts are around there now. Notes, internal only, they will show up within the booking invite only on your side. Custom fields, we can go ahead and we can add a question. So in terms of thinking about John, let's go ahead and add drop-down questions, because then we can quantify it. How long is your tape drape? Short, long, Rapunzel. I didn't spell that right, but that's fine. We're going to go ahead and save that. That's going to show up now on our booking form for this service only. So I'll show you that in just a second. So, okay, we're done with that. Reminders and confirmations. We can go ahead and set reminders at different times. So let's send a reminder 1 hour before, send reminder to customer, and we'll leave that there. Save. Enable text message notifications for your customer. This is a preview right now at no additional cost. Eventually, there will be a limit on what can be done for free, and there will be additional services for this. But at this point, it's still in preview. I'm not going to do that because I don't have those services enabled on this tenant. Show this service on the booking page, online scheduling options. So it's working off the default policy, or we can go ahead and change it like we did before for, say, Christmas. The general availability, and this is all set. So we're going to save. Let's go back to the booking page. Open a new instance of that. We'll close the old one. So here we can select our service up top. You can see we've got the haircut for $30. Now it's not going to charge them, but I'm going to show you where this enables. So we're going to book one for Tuesday. I want it to be with Megan, and we're going to go ahead and add details. We're going to do me again. Yes, you can use my data to make money, and I want a mohawk. And we're going to book. Oh, didn't pick a time. Let's do it 12:45. Now I'm going to get a confirmation email here in a second. Click OK. It shows where we're going to be at, what time it is, who it's with, and then we have the ability to reschedule if we want to. Let's say 11:15 and update booking. Consent to book. Yes. Okay. Now, we're not going to show the customer emails, but I will show you up. There are my notifications coming to my phone. You can hear those in the background. So let's go back to bookings. And now we can look at the calendar. And when we skip forward, now we're seeing these busies because these already exist within the calendars. But when we go forward to the date, you can see we've got the initial consult here that I did with Maud. And then we go to the next day, and there is the haircut. Now, when we go to the home dashboard, and I'm not sure if this will update yet. So the estimated revenue, I believe, gets reflected once the appointment is held. So what you're able to do is, if you expect in the barbershop example that every time a client comes in, you're going to make $30. Well, every time those meetings are held, that's going to add up on the estimated revenue, and you're going to be able to pull reports on that. So the final thing I want to look at here is what that looks like for Megan. So now we've got Megan here. So we're going to go ahead and close, and we've got Outlook. So we get the notification. We got a new booking from Sean Spicer, haircut. And interestingly enough, it doesn't say anything about my mohawk. And then we can click here. Oh, and it's just an icon. And then we will also see here in Megan's calendar, she's very busy. So she is going to be hard to see it. There is the haircut. So log into bookings to see customer information and notes for this event. So yes, we're going to attend. Now Megan can come in here as well. Go to all apps, go to bookings, get it now, and it's just going to sign in. No, I don't want to add one. There we go. And now we have the access here. Now she is a viewer, and she should not be able to add services. Oh, okay. Note, if the user is a global admin, that's going to override the settings in bookings. So she is always going to have that access. I'm not going to go through and do this again with Isaiah, but let's go ahead and discard. We do not need that. Now, the final thing we're going to do is send customer replies to. Now, we're going to do this back as our mod administrator. Now, we don't want the global admin to get customer replies or anything like that, but it would be useful to get this to the rest of the team. Let's say you have a team of hairdressers and they all need to see what the bookings are coming in. Maybe somebody's getting a hot run and they want to ask, hey, what's going on? How are you getting so many bookings? What we're going to do now is we're going to go into Teams. And I'm going to set this up in the sales channel because, of course, Contoso is an electronics company. They are not a barbershop. So we're going to pretend that these are inbound sales leads. So sales and marketing, we're going to go ahead and create a new channel and call it bookings and booking notifications. We're going to automatically show that to everybody, and it's accessible to everybody in the team. Let's add that channel. Now we have our bookings channel. What we want to do is click the ellipses here and get email address. So now we've got that. Let's copy. We can come back into bookings and paste, and that is a pain because it wants to do a mail to link. Go ahead and save that. And once again, let's go back to that bookings page, open up another one. Select our service, want that haircut. Let's do it with Megan again. We'll do it on the 11th. And details, I love that autofill. Make money and book. Whoops, I keep forgetting to set the time. Oh, and you can see here because she is so booked up, the only available time is 1:15. So it is pulling that information from Outlook, keeps things from double booking. There are other windows, but you'll remember that we set a default buffer time of 15 minutes. So now I'm going to get a ding ding here in a second from my phone. But if we go back to Teams, this can take a second. See, I do these things in demos where it winds up taking 5 or 10 minutes before it actually updates, and it looks like things are broken. So I do have this set up already, both for when people fill out forms on our website, as well as when people book meetings with our sales team. And this is a great way for me to keep an eye on the activities of the sales team to see what kind of clients are coming in. And it also allows me to back them up when things are really busy because I can see and qualify or disqualify customers. I'll check LinkedIn and, oh no, this guy's only got 2 users. I'm going to send him a link to the Microsoft Partner Finder and let him know that we're probably not the right fit. Or, hey, get on this one really quick. These guys are saying that they've got a compliance audit coming up in 90 days. They need our help. And hey, 500 users, get a hold of them. So it is nice to have that clarity and visibility. And one of the things I love about Teams, and we've done sessions about this in the past, is about working in the open. And when things come into email, things get siloed. Only the person who gets the email has access to it. You can't search for it. And it just doesn't work that well. So if you do have any need to create bookings for your customers or even your employees in a easy way, instead of having to deal with, oh, do you have availability here? Maybe you don't want to have everybody in the company have access to everybody else's calendars. So this gives the ability to book without lifting that veil, if you will. So I hope this has been helpful. Again, Agile IT Tech Talks are a service for our MSP and CSP clients. We do these as live sessions every Thursday. We then upload the videos to YouTube. If you do have questions, you can ask down below. But now what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the recording, unmute everybody's microphones, and we can have an open discussion about what we've discussed. Thanks again for joining us. If you are watching online, give us a like and follow, and have a great day.